Chloe Peterson says, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. So Caitlin Clark basically got hurt again. How did she get hurt again?
The whisper started with a single report. Chloe Peterson came forward saying, sources confirmed to me, Caitlin Clark suffered a very mild bone bruise in her left ankle on August the 7th. To the casual fan, that might sound like nothing more than another footnote in a long season. But for those who have followed the rise and fall of Caitlin Clark's Twintal 25 campaign, those words rang like church bells of doom.
I don't know. It's definitely looking hella spooky right now. Because if Caitlin was hurt and supposed to have been not doing certain things, how do the Fever organization allow her to get hurt?
How could it happen again? How could the Indiana Fever's brightest light, the very woman who turned arenas into sanctuaries of basketball worship, be hurt once more? The timeline doesn't just look bad, it looks catastrophic. Indiana Fever Nation has been hit with a thunderbolt, another brutal reminder that even legends can crumble when the system designed to protect them fails spectacularly. This is not simply an injury update. This is devastation. This is panic. This is the systematic destruction of the most electrifying force the WNBA has ever seen. Clark, who had never missed a single game across 4 years at Iowa, who stormed through her rookie season without blinking, is now stuck in a purgatory of endless medical reports. And the truth is darker than the headlines. It's not just about missing games. It's about missing seasons. It's about missing destiny. And it's about a league that sat idly by while its greatest treasure was chipped away piece by piece.
The odds that the Indiana Fever would miss the playoffs prior to this season taking place. Just there's so much fishiness going on in this league, and you just sniff around a little bit, you can tell.
Think back to the expectations. The Indiana Fever entered the season with a new coach, new roster additions, and the once-in-a-lifetime presence of Caitlin Clark leading them. Payouts, predictions, playoff chatter, it was all built around her star power. Bookmakers adjusted odds. Fans bought season tickets months in advance. Journalists wrote glowing previews about a franchise finally ready to reclaim relevance. And now, we sit here asking, what's the payout if all those expectations were just a cruel illusion? Because suddenly, beat writers are saying she hurt her ankle back on August 7th. Suddenly, the most covered player in the league has injuries we're only hearing about weeks later. None of this makes sense. The math tells its own heartbreaking story. Caitlin Clark has missed 22 games this season, more than some stars miss in their entire careers. The woman who built her reputation on durability, toughness, and reliability has become fragile in the public eye. A left quad strain, a left groin injury, a right groin injury, and now, a bone bruise in the same ankle she relies on to plant and elevate. It's like watching a priceless painting get slashed while guards stand by doing nothing. Fans ask, why are we only being told now? Why do the updates sound like puzzles instead of clarity? Why does this organization, supposedly the professional home of a generational athlete, operate like a mom-and-pop store fumbling its way through history? The lies, the cover-ups, the contradictions, they're everywhere. There's even video evidence. Clark, jogging gingerly, her gait awkward and painful, her body screaming before her mouth can. And yet the official line is day to day, status quo, or she'll be back soon.
Who bet, the Indiana Fever with Caitlin Clark, with a new head coach, with all these new additions, what's the payout if they just, surprise, miss the playoffs? Indiana Fever reporters, beat writers, pawns, whatever.
But the eye test doesn't lie. She looks broken. She looks finished. And some are saying, it's a wrap. Shut her down. This season is done. This isn't just hyperbole. This is reality. Caitlin Clark, the symbol of hope for Indiana Fever fans, the woman who made tickets skyrocket to $670 on resale markets, is now sidelined indefinitely. Her career, once a flawless ascent, now looks like a graveyard of injuries. The groin injuries robbed her explosiveness, her cuts, her ability to finish at the rim. The quad strain made every step heavier, every burst slower. And now, the ankle bruise, suffered during rehab no less, threatens the foundation of her entire game. This poor girl is in her early 20s and already falling apart under the weight of expectation and the incompetence of those tasked with protecting her. The cruel irony is that Clark has been pressured to rush back precisely because the Fever are clinging to a playoff spot. They built a championship roster around her, and without her, their identity is in shambles. So the whispers grow louder. She has to come back. She owes it to the fans. The team can't win without her. But reality doesn't bend to pressure. Injuries don't heal because the schedule says they must. And with every new tweak, the house of cards collapses further. Remember how it started. A left quad strain. She missed 5 games, but came back strong, dropping 32 on the Liberty like nothing had happened. The story felt like it was back on track, but it was a cruel mirage. A left groin injury came next, robbing her of 4 more games. When she returned, she wasn't herself, averaging barely 12. 5 points, shooting just 31% over 4 contests. Her magic was dulled, her spark dimmed. And then came the haymaker, the right groin injury on July 15th against Connecticut, stealing 13 games and counting. That alone could have ended her season.
Stuff like, why tell us now? None of this stuff is just, it's not making sense, man. I mean, this organization, man, it's being run like a mom and pop shop, bro. Like, God, like, what is going on? What is going?
The Caitlin Clark injury saga didn't just expose the fragility of one superstar, it revealed the fragility of the entire WNBA structure. What we are witnessing is not bad luck, but a chain reaction born of incompetence, negligence, and misplaced priorities. When a league allows its brightest star to get battered with cheap shots, when officials turn a blind eye to dangerous play, and when coaches and executives mislead fans with vague, contradictory statements, disaster isn't just possible, it's inevitable. Clark's latest setback, a bone bruise suffered during what should have been a controlled rehab session, feels like the final straw. For fans, it's a betrayal. They packed arenas, they bought jerseys, they invested emotionally in a franchise that promised championships. Instead, they got silence, confusion, and a star reduced to rehab videos instead of highlight reels. Stephanie White continues to stand at the podium, repeating the same empty phrases. Until she's in practice, it's status quo. Translation: they have no idea when she'll return.
I don't even, nobody knows what's going on. Everybody's liars. We can't get the truth about anything. There's a video of Caitlin Clark trying to jog. She looks awful just trying to trot. I mean, I don't know what's going on. This is terrible. I told you.
The regular season ends September 9th. The playoffs begin September 14th. And every day that passes brings Indiana closer to the possibility of entering the postseason without their leader. A year that began with so much promise now teeters on the edge of collapse. What makes this even harder for fans to swallow is the perception of dishonesty. Many believe White has covered for players' injuries before, spinning absences as personal reasons or day-to-day tweaks when the truth was much more severe. That lack of transparency creates a toxic environment. Fans want honesty. They deserve honesty. Instead, they get deception and spin while their favorite player's body breaks down in front of them. And it isn't just Clark. The Fever have been ravaged. Sydney Colson with a torn ACL, Ari McDonald with a broken foot, Sophie Cunningham with a devastating season-ending injury. It feels as though the basketball gods have turned against Indiana, punishing them for daring to build something special. Injuries pile up around Clark like a curse, and the once bright championship vision now looks like smoke slipping through their fingers. Fans are demanding answers. Some want the team to shut Clark down immediately, rather than risk further damage. Others demand investigations into the league's officiating, questioning why repeated assaults on Clark were brushed off with minimal punishment. Still others whisper conspiracy theories, that the Fever and the league are deliberately hiding the severity of her injuries for financial reasons, afraid of admitting their golden goose is broken.
We knew about the quad injury earlier this summer. We knew about the groin injury that's kept her sidelined damn near the entire season. Now we are being told that Caitlin Clark suffered a bone bruise in her ankle during a workout.
Even Clark's teammates can't extinguish the doubts. Sophie Cunningham defended the organization publicly, calling the conspiracy talk nonsense, but her defense felt hollow. When your franchise player goes from never missing a game to missing more than half a season, fans aren't going to shrug and say, "Bad luck." Something is broken. And maybe, just maybe, it's not Caitlin Clark's body, but the entire infrastructure around her. Think about her game for a moment. Clark is a guard whose entire identity is built on explosiveness, elevation, deep shooting range, and quick cuts. All of that comes from her legs. And now? 3 different lower leg injuries in a span of months. A quad strain, groin injuries on both sides, an ankle bone bruise. This isn't just a setback. It's a red flag the size of a billboard. If the Fever bring her back prematurely, they risk not just this season, but her entire career trajectory. We've seen it before. Kevin Durant returning from a calf strain only to rupture his Achilles. Fans don't want to see history repeat itself with Clark. The WNBA now finds itself in an impossible bind. Their biggest draw, their ticket to mainstream relevance, their one-woman marketing machine is broken down on the bench. Every empty seat in an arena is a reminder of what she meant. Every dip in ratings screams her absence. And while they try to distract fans with storylines, gimmicks, or discipline against outspoken podcasters, the truth is unavoidable.
2 weeks ago, this poor girl is falling apart in her early 20s. Part of me understands the push to get Caitlin Clark back on the court. The Indiana Feline.
Without Clark, the WNBA is fading back into obscurity. The commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, speaks about task forces, about protecting players, about safety initiatives. But where were those protections when Clark was being shoved to the floor? Where were those initiatives when she was being eye-gouged, elbowed, and hacked game after game? Where were the suspensions and fines that might have deterred opponents from treating her like a rag doll? They never came. And now, the league reaps what it sowed. The cruel irony is unbearable. Clark, who had been marketed as the savior of women's basketball, the face of a new golden era, has been reduced to a bystander in her own story. The woman who once symbolized invincibility is now fragile. The woman who filled arenas to the rafters is now reduced to Instagram posts and sideline smiles. The Fever cling to a 19-16
ever seen. So if she had an injury or tweak something or hurt something almost 2 weeks ago, you probably think we would have heard about it by now, right? Right. Scott Agnes reports